Well, good morning everybody. I'm coming to. Darren's awake, and Lassie just wandered off. I did start with the inner on this camp towards the door. It's infinitely better having it pitched at the back, because then you can just simply come straight in and into the inner. We ate outside until it was just before dark, about 9:30. I think we stayed outside, and then I hadn't quite made the inner how I wanted it. Like I said, I had the inner facing, you know, the door as it were. So at 9:30 I did a quick rearrange of inside, so it was pretty quick and easy. And I also tightened up the Trailstar somewhat as well. And we got a good morning from Lassie as well. Yeah, you've had your drink. You've had your drink, haven't you? Hey? Yeah, you've had your drink? Good girl. And you're putting your paws. More worried about the inner and the inflatable ground sheet than the family jewels. Okay, well, let's pop over and see how Darren has been getting on with his packing, and then you can kind of compare it to how I've been getting on or not. So let's have a look over here. So Darren's drying his socks out, and it looks pretty tidy round here. Yeah, very tidy in there. You must have slept like Lassie last night. I did. There you are. There's a he-man. He just slept on the grass, look. There's me inside a tarp, inside a inner, inside a sleeping bag, on a dry bag, and God knows what else. And there's Darren just sleeping on the grass. You probably curled like with Lassie last night. I
was wondering why it was so warm.
Yeah, there you go, that's why. That's probably why you had so many hairs in your mouth this morning. And then we come over here. Tony, the model of cleanliness and tidiness and everything elseness. We did have one nice view. It's a bit of a shame they were so far away. Well, a bit of a shame she was so far away. Apparently there might have been a couple camping just below us. I don't think close, but I don't think a million miles away, but we heard nothing. Anyway, they were apparently, Darren heard the girl screaming and shouting and swearing at the boy. Maybe, hey Darren, maybe he didn't get it up enough in the night or something like that. Maybe that's why she was screaming at him. Is that the best you can do? So they went up this slope up here, fully packed and everything. And then halfway up, they stopped. And I kid you not, they stripped off. Now, how much they stripped down to, they were too far away to tell. So it's quite likely that they had their underwear on or something. But there was definitely skin showing. Yeah. It was far too far away to, unfortunately, it was far too far away to be able to see anything other than an outline of skin. But they definitely stripped down to very little, which was a very strange thing to do on the side of a hill, just above two people camping. But anyway, it just shows that if Darren and I decide to strip off on a hill or something, and we're halfway up and there are people down here, they won't see us. So we, you know, we would be safe, Darren. Okay, so here we are inside the Trailstar, and you can see how much room and space there is in here. I'm outside the inner, that's the inner behind me, and I'm sitting in effectively the porch area, and I can't even reach the door. This is actually quite a nice way of having the inner. I always have the inner facing the door, and I think when you pitch lower, in more storm mode, then I think you do kind of need to have your head by the door, so you've got some headroom. This is the first time I've ever slept at the back, and it actually, surprisingly, it works well. You can kind of like sit in this porch area here rather than getting in the inner if you want to. Not that you really have much reason to sit here, you know, other than for what I'm doing is finishing off a tea and contemplating what the devil to do next. That's my clothes that I need to wear effectively. There's sort of waterproofs that will go on top. Obviously my phone will go in my pocket. And then it's just sort of bits everywhere. It's about 20 past 11, so so much for packing up and leaving at dawn. I've never gone along with that one so much, unless you absolutely have to if you're going to be moved on or something like that. But here we are, we're finally shifting. It's me holding everybody up as usual, but we've just been chilling out and relaxing. So everything's come out of the Trailstar now. Darren's collapsing, his down. I've put the inner away, so it's just water bottles to go on the outside, Lass's water bowls to go in, and that's it. And then we're nearly ready to head in that direction. I'll just quickly just show you over here just briefly. Found water in this little stream here. Look at that. Now, someone explained to me why you can't drink the water straight out of that. I don't think you would ever get anything fresher and purer than that. And there's not even any sheep around, nothing. Okay, this little area here is called slipper stones or slippery stones or plimsoll stones or slipper stones, something like that. So only try and be sensible for a minute. So I just said to Darren that he wants to do a bit of filming on here as well. So I said, well, you do a bit of filming down there, because I'm young and active and fit. I just come up this hill just a teeny weeny bit and just do a bit of filming up here. I believe during the war with Uncle Albert, to our American friends, Uncle Albert wasn't really an uncle, he was a character in Only Fools and Horses. During the war, that's World War II of course, I believe a B something or other crashed into the side of this hill. There's Darren down there, he's doing a little bit of filming. I believe that's Black Rock. And of course Yes Tour is just the other side. Okay, well we've just stopped here. This is inside the Oakhampton firing range. You can just see some markers just behind us. And we're heading roughly along this animal track, which now is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, to camp somewhere near the base of Linz Tor. We're still heading along towards the base of Linz Tor, and we weren't quite sure where the path along here was going. It's kind of along this way. It kind of came through some stones over there, and Darren's just taking the scenic route down there. I think he fancies those sheep. Yeah, just keep going. You can go straight, but there is a path up here. Okay, well Darren's just wet his what do you call that, bandana?
Yeah.
Just dipped his bandana in nice cold stream water, well, lukewarm stream water, and we're just heading in this direction. And it's been quite a nice path, all things considered. I think it's been mostly an animal trail along here, but it's got us all the way to here. And if you go back into my videos going back 7 odd years, 8 years, 9 years, when I had Bess, and we're going to go down there. But I camped down there on one freezing camp. This camp when I was actually doing a long distance walking, and I walked across the top, way over the back, over to Yes Tor. Jesus, it's actually quite scary to imagine how much I walked back in those days. And then from Yes Tor I had to come across, in fact I think it was even behind Yes Tor, and then I had to come across towards Yes Tor. Sorry, not Yes Tor, Yes Tor's over there. Oh, what the hell is that Tor called? Fur Tor, over that way. Yeah, I walked behind Fur Tor, that's right. And I remember it was absolutely frozen. We'd had a frost for like a week before, and it was when I was wearing trail shoes with sealskin socks and liner socks underneath, and the surface was frozen, but underneath, because I hadn't been frozen for very long, my feet kept dropping through the ice into freezing cold water underneath. And I remember having to cross all of that, and I didn't once stop because my feet were so bloody cold. And then I came across Linz Tor down here, and then because my feet were already soaking and frozen, I thought I'm going to cross that ford right down there, which we'll see in a minute. And then I pitched the Trailstar right in that little green area right opposite the ford, so that when I got up the next morning I didn't have to cross that water. And then I came straight up this track up here, which is still here, and then right up the top to Kitty Tor. Right, well, it's 3:15. We got back, or we got down to the bottom of this valley here. We didn't bother crossing the ford. I suggested staying on this side if we could to avoid wet feet. If we'd have had to have crossed, then we could have done and tried to pitch over there, but we thought we'd keep dry feet. So Derek is it's Darren, isn't it?
Yeah.
Darren, I got it wrong already. Darren. I'm absolutely rubbish with names. Darren.
It's alright, mate. It's alright, crocodiles, Dundee.
So Darren's pitched his Trailstar, obviously there, quite low to the ground with his cheap Chinese imported inner.
It's good. AliExpress.
By MLD. But it's fitted in there. He's squeezed it in. It's probably about the only thing he can squeeze in at his old age now.
Don't you bet on it, old man.
And then we come over here to MLD's own. And we've managed to pitch the cuben Trailstar pretty well. I'll probably give myself about 9 out of 10 for that. How many? 6.
Last night was a 2.
Last night, well, it was probably about a 2 until I repitched it, and then it was about an 8.
Yeah. No, definitely a 9.
But we've managed to get all the panels mostly tight. Because of the inner, I've pitched it higher than I normally would to get this inner to fit. And you kind of got to sort of, you've got to sort of narrow yourself down a bit to get in. That's the only thing. Just squeeze in a bit. But then once you're in, you've got the inner. As you can see, I've had to shorten the height of the inner a little bit there. But it's tight enough, and probably don't need the bungee cords. I put one there and one at the back. I might just put them on for the sake of it, but probably not needed. But that's fitted at the back pretty well. It's probably angled just very slightly here, but not much. It's fine. That way it keeps it quite a long way away from the edges. You could arguably move it just slightly that way a little bit, but that's a pretty good pitch. And I think the conclusion of this is it is definitely better to put this inner at the back, and then you're just walking.
I like that.
So to get in, you just have to narrow yourself in a bit, walk in, and then you're straight into your innards. And then of course you've got all of this oodles and oodles of space until finally you're outside. I've just grabbed my water. Rather than taking it from the main river there, which would be perfectly fine, we found this this little stream running just down here. So Darren's just filtering his. I just found this nice little stream just running straight down here, down there, and then down there.
There's my bath.
And Darren's got his bath just down there. So next time Darren needs to make sure he brings his rubber duck with him. Right, so we're just going for a little stroll here. It's a bit wet underfoot. Stream coming in just there. And then that's Lynch Tor just up there. And a nice view up the valley.